Hi, I'm Corinna, and I'm from, Corinna Lotz, and I'm one of the chief coordinators of this event today. I'd just like to say a few words by way of introduction. The campaign for Assemblies for Democracy is the result of a collaboration between quite a few groups, which you've probably seen on the website, and the groups and individuals as well, and organisations. And in fact, there are more people have been actually expressing their support continuously by way of Eventbrite over the last few weeks. And what has brought us all together is that all of us are struggling in our own way for a more democratic society. And that's really the fundamental thing that we all share. And if we didn't share that, we wouldn't have been able to hold this event today. And since we began the campaign, it was really in the spring of last year, it was amazing because we kept on finding more and more organisations that were actually working on the project for real democracy in their own way. And even now they're sort of popping up out of the woodwork. And that reflects a very deep alienation that exists in society. And that it's a growing disenchantment amongst probably millions of people who do feel that they are disenfranchised. They feel they don't have a voice in the existing democratic form that we have at this time. And in fact, we've been getting messages and requests for participation, right up till last night, where we had a message from Wales, which we read out later at the end, and Scotland, and also from, believe it or not, Australia. Somebody on Facebook said that he's formed a new group and he'd like to work with Assemblies for Democracy. So these are really evidence that there is this movement in Britain, in the UK, in Ireland. There's also people we know. It's more than a pro-democracy movement. It's a movement to really examine the fundamentals of what democracy is and how it could be and should be. And the next few weeks up to the general election will make this even sharper, and we'll put this under the spotlight. And the Scottish referendum was very important because it showed the huge hunger that is out there, that people have, to actually take part in a democratic process. And it did astonish just about astonished everyone how in a matter of weeks the whole kind of apathy thing disappeared, and almost in some areas 80–90% of people registered to vote or actually voted, and particularly amongst younger people. And all the things said about young people's apathy kind of disappeared very quickly. It showed that when the people feel they have a chance to participate in a real decision-making process, that they're only too anxious to do that. The idea of assemblies is to involve people in actually developing, thinking about and practicing alternative forms of democracy. And it's very important, I think, today that we try and focus on the need to go beyond this hollowed out type of version that we have, and envisage and begin to think of ways we could achieve a real democracy. And because I think one thing we agree, that what we have now is not the last word in democracy. And it's not about reaching agreement today. The most important thing is that we have this diversity of views, that we actually not just celebrate diversity, but we see it as a means of achieving a more advanced, a more democratic kind of, not just discussion, but ultimately a way of organising and running society. And that power has to involve, it cannot be separated from diversity. Embracing diversity is the kind of power that we're looking for. And the more differences of view, the more opinions, the more ideas we can share, the better. And I think you'll all agree we want to run today in that spirit, that we're not out to impose our view or somebody's view on somebody else, that we want to listen very hard, think about what we're achieving, and then by the end of today to come up with a better individual understanding, a better collective understanding of where we can go from here. Because there isn't a single answer to this problem. Certainly in view of the planning group, I think I can speak for the planning group by saying that there's no silver bullet. We can't just find the answer. It has to come out of these different points of view. And that's really what it's all about today. And that listening, thinking, and then moving on to thinking about and planning forms of action in the very final session. So thanks again, and at this point I'm going to invite, we have the 4 speakers for this morning. There's